All right, today I want to get straight into this and talk about something a little bit different. You see the title of this video. We're going to talk about taking you from very little to way more. 10x. Or if you're at nothing right now, because if you 10x nothing, you get zero. But you go 10x your business or even more with just this. Let's go over the amount of millionaires that are there. Let's say that you're not there yet, or you are there, but you're a millionaire because of your house value, not a liquid millionaire. But let's just show it right here. We have over 26,000 millionaires in North America, another 16,000 plus in Europe, Asia Pacific, not including China, I'm guessing. Over 10,000. China alone, guessing they're separating them instead of USA alone. Very interesting. 6,000, over 6,000. Somebody's very, very much paying attention to China and India. Latin America, so South America, basically, almost 1,000. Just under 800 for India. And Africa, all combined, 352 millionaires. All right. So you look at the United States, 24, almost 24.5. So almost 24.5 million millionaires. Dang, that's a lot of money, right? That's a lot of net worth. That's a lot of money being moved around. Obviously, all of them are not just millionaires by their house, millionaires by their trust fund or something like that. These people, some of them are deca millionaires. That means 10 million and above. Some of these people have tens of millions, hundreds of millions. That's where we're at. It's all levels of that where you're looking at the United States. Let's say that you are trying to increase your business. Well, one of the things that you would do, all right, one of the things that you would do is that you would target the people that have enough money to afford what you are offering and value what you already give. Because a lot of people, when they go into sales, they're basically begging. They're begging people and say, buy this, buy that, please, oh, please, dear. And that actually works just by the law of averages. If I go out and I start begging a bunch of people, eventually there's going to be enough people to buy whatever I have to sell, right? There's going to be enough people to buy whatever you have to sell. If you're selling perfume, if you're selling a yacht, if you're selling a house, if you go out and beg enough people, eventually by the law of averages, that will eventually get you there. But there's a more effective way to do it. But if you are slacking off in sales, you can learn how to persuade better. What does that mean? That means a person just needs to be shown. Like you're not trying to convince them to necessarily buy from you. You're trying to convince them of the value of the thing that they already want. See, when people were switching over from horses to cars, for example, they already wanted, because by evidence of the horses, they already wanted a pathway to get from point A to point B faster and with less stress and less of their own energy from where they were. Okay, you're going from your house to a store, for example. You're going from your house to a forest or to your friend's place or something, and you get on a horse and buggy and you say, let's go over there. All right, that's one thing. Limiting factors, you got to clean and make sure the horse isn't pooping in the street, and they got to pee and urinate. They got to go to the bathroom and all of those things. It's hot outside, so that affects the horse. They get tired, so on and so forth. Then that's when cars were there. Cars instantly caught on. You didn't have to beg people to get cars compared to horses. Why? Because the cars didn't have all of the, the drawbacks. Yeah, people like animals and everything like that. But then at the same time, they're like, hey, this smells, it's all of these things. And even though cars were very, very dangerous, didn't have airbags and a lot of other things that weren't set up, they were willing to go through and forego some of those life risks for the vehicles because they saw the opportunity of something that they already wanted. And there were people, obviously most famous Henry Ford, but there were people that made millions and billions off of the switch and transition from horses to cars. Literally, what was that picture in New York City? 1 year, snap. Like, wow, these things can go by very fast. So there is a shift right now from the United States to China, from Europe to China, from the West to the collective global South, because everything's not going in China, just most of it, or a good portion. If you had to center out one country, it would say, let's say 30% went to China. That's still not over half, but that's still the majority compared to any other one country. That's what it'd be. If something went to South Africa, Nigeria, India and things like that, it wouldn't add up to what China got individually. That's what I mean there. And there is money to be made. So let's take a look specifically at one more thing. Now, if we compare this to billionaires right here, it says, here's how many billionaires and millionaires live in the United States. So this is US only. Instagram, TikTok, the technology and business section of every newspaper. All of these outlets feed the American public a nonstop stream of the world's wealthiest people, from their lifestyles to their latest obsessions. And while they might seem like they're everywhere, America's richest are few in number. And I'm about to explain why that is. All right. Well, the billionaires, at least as of 2023, there are a mere 735 billionaires in the United States. The millionaires are more plentiful, almost 22 million. So remember, we were looking at 24 and a half. That means almost is under 22 million. So that means it was 21 million something. But let's just say, for argument's sake and just making it easier, that means basically under that, actually the rounding, it will be 2.5 million more millionaires just got created from the end of 2023. So basically the beginning of 2024 until now. This is June of 2024. You're telling me that at the end of 2023, 6 months later, remember I told you guys that 2024 is the year of results, that this is the halfway point. Just over half the year is gone. If you don't finish off December better than you are at the beginning of the year, something went haywire. I just got through talking to someone just yesterday. They may wind up doing that. They said they had to talk to their business partner, and I'm not trying to do a plug to me. I'm using this as an example. I saw their business. I saw what they want to do. I said, look, go ahead and get that coaching. We're going to have it here. You're going to need 4 hours of that coaching. You and your business partner can come in. That's $40,000 per every 2 hours. So that's going to be 4 hours, $80,000. You spend that, you're going to take your business that's already doing about 600,000 to $1 million, and you're fluctuating up and down from there, where I'm looking at this like, hey, you're going to need a little bit more time. You may even need something higher than that, but this is the first step where we're going to get you to a smooth 2.5 to 4 million with what I see there. Because that was somebody that got introduced to me. She got introduced to me by another associate that I work with, or a client, actually, another client that I work with. So I say, okay, now if they do that, they're going to take off. I see the holes. That's one of the gifts that I have. That's elevate and upgrade and be able to, another word is consultant, but able to upgrade other people's lives, whether it's through their business, relationships, and other things. That's the gift I've had. I've had that since a little kid. So I see what they're doing. If they come back to me in another day or two, or today after the recording of this, that will be fantastic for them. I saw it. But instead of them struggling and going back and forth and being stagnated like they were for the last 3.5 years, you see how these people from 2023, let me highlight this and zoom in, from 2023 at the end, December 2023, which really means it's probably some numbers from 2022, but to argument's sake here, 2023 till now, 6, 7, 8 months later, you got 2.5 million more millionaires, and you telling me there isn't a way? Now, let's put this here. This is the question we got to ask ourselves today and every day. You guys like the dark one, the pitch black one? Welcome to Bank of Trading Value. I'm Nick, your host, and this is the question we have to ask ourselves today and every day. What are you willing to trade for your freedom? Are you willing to trade your time, your money, your health, your friends? Are you willing to sacrifice those things for your freedom? Some people call it the rat race. Some people call it life as a marathon. Whatever you want to associate with that, what are you willing? Some people are willing to sacrifice other people's time and money for their freedom. Maybe you don't have to sacrifice any of those things that were listed off. The question is, what are you willing to trade, aka sacrifice, for your freedom? Sacrifice doesn't have to be a negative thing, by the way. It could just mean trading something of a lesser value for something of a greater value. Does not have to mean I miss out on my kids' lives. No, that's not what that means. It means I was wasting time watching some TV or one of these social media things and doing that. And now instead of doing those things, I am now talking, educating other people. See, same amount of time, similar energy levels, and yet one will give me a greater return than the other one. So I sacrificed the negative and brought in the positive. Many people think it's a sacrifice the good for something that they want to get. You don't necessarily have to do that. So let's look at this on this whiteboard here. So you saw the title of the video. I had to prep you there for that first 11 minutes so that we can get to this point. And as always, we always start ourselves with blue. I didn't even know that Canva had a whiteboard. Oh, this is very good. So I already played around with it, but this is us. And actually, let's do this. Erase it. You see how that is? We're going to put us, as always, basically somewhere in the middle. So that's us in the blue. Or this is you in the blue. And let's fill you up right here. This is where you are. This is your business. And you're already, let's say you're generating about $5,000 or $6,000 a month. You may not be doing that, but let's get you there. $5,000-6,000 a month. You might even be doing $200,000 or $300,000 a month. But that's where you are. If you want to be able to do this on your business and start doing that 10x or more, you want a 2x, because that's still a huge amount. You want a 2x in a very short amount of time, or you want to do even higher. Question mark right here, X. And that just depends on what you're doing. Now, if you want to do that, this is what you can do. Number one, you work on marketing. All right. You work on marketing. Marketing, what does that mean? It means awareness. People usually say sales and marketing. It should be marketing and sales, because before you're doing sales, you should have already a reputation that precedes you, but you want to make sure you live up to that reputation. So that reputation, people are talking about you. What do you want to associate that with? You want to associate that with something that's growing and thriving, right? That's what you want to do, growing and thriving. You want that in the upper direction. So let's erase these right here. I like how this one is. Okay, number two, what you want to do, because marketing, oh, by the way, marketing, that could be from billboards outside. That could be from you having posters and flyers and everything at universities, at libraries, all over the place, outside of your place, on a light pole, social media. And you're putting that there. If you're willing to do that, you're able to leverage, instead of going one by one by one by one, which is in this next step, you can instead get your name out there where more people are coming to you. Now, the way I look at it is you can always do both at the same time. Some people just want all to come to them, and then they sacrifice doing the basics. The basics is you got some cold calling, you got some cold outreach and everything with sales. Hey, that just, it is what it is. You don't stop doing the basics necessarily. Some people don't need to do that. But for most businesses, you don't just want to stop doing the basics just because you got business coming to you. You could do both at the same time. Although you are aware that your marketing is so strong, you barely need to do sales. You actually don't need to. You're just like, hey, there's more opportunity. Let me do it. So you want to get better at your sales. Now, with your marketing, let's say that currently your reach, let's look at the YouTube channel and let's do this. See, this is why I like this here, because I can move it around. So that's up there. Let's say that your marketing, okay, let's change the pin color here and change that to this smooth, this color. All right. And here is me with my YouTube channel. Change the weight. And here's the YouTube channel. And right now, I barely got 30 subscribers. And so the views that I'm getting per week, let's put it here. And this was me barely doing anything at first. The views I'm getting per week are anywhere from 5 to about 15 on a typical video. I do have a video that's almost 100 now from the recent ones that I got, and another one that's at 25, but this is usually the range where I'm at. So I'm reaching about those many views. And let's say that I'm leaving a comment on the bottom so that people know the resources to contact. One of those views is probably mine. Even though I try to pause it very quickly, it probably still counts it. So I'm getting anywhere from 5 to 15 per video. Now, if I continue to market and I continue to just get my name out there and I'm consistent about the time that I do it, I'm doing 8:45 in the morning, my local time, or I'm doing right before midnight at night. I think I'm going to experiment with the different times, but then YouTube says, hey, this guy is consistent. So we're going to give him a green check mark, consistency. This marketing then increases my views to 50 to 200. Let's say that my views then increase here. If I'm going from very little business where somebody's saying, okay, he's at least got a YouTube channel, because that's what got them interested in me. They said they saw some of the videos after one of my clients had referred them. And then they saw and said, this guy, it looks like he's just starting out on YouTube. He doesn't have that many views, but I like what he said. So this is confirmed. So they looked at that. That was a plus. Now I'm getting even more views. So now some people may begin to reach out. This is where I go from, okay, I made, let's say that I am making 100,000 a month under here, combined with the sales outreach that I do. And then all I do is this. You see how much bigger that is? If I keep a similar ratio, this could go more than double. But how numbers work, this would be somewhere around 300,000, not necessarily by the exact same 10x amount. So it wouldn't necessarily go to 1 million plus, but it would go somewhere around 250, 350, or somewhere around there. So let's say with just those numbers, that's something with just my marketing. Now, if I improve the presentation of my videos and then they keep improving, and I know I need some improvement, then the subscriber count can grow up faster, but more importantly, the views. I don't need to monetize the channel. So whether the subscribers go up or not, here's this. Now we go up here, we're getting somewhere between 5,000 and 12,000 per view. Now this then jumps up here if I'm still consistent and YouTube likes that. What is it output? Somewhere between 700,000 to 1.5 million. Now that's based on just using 100,000. Okay, just using the completely made up numbers there. And the reason why that is happening in this ratio, I would know some of these numbers, whether it's a smaller degree, whether it was 10 to 30 to 70,000 to 150,000 type of thing. But I would know these numbers and how they're growing similar to this. Now, this is because it's in my particular business. Yours may not necessarily grow to this number if you're doing these. Let's say I'm only doing 1,000 with those. So I scrap off that. That goes from 1,000 to 3,000, 3,000 to 7, and then that to 15,000. Okay, that goes to 15,000 at those numbers. That's all. That's basically like 1,000 per view on each of those videos. Now, why is this important? The more people that know about me and they're forming a happy impression of me, the more they will talk. Okay? When they talk, they spread to more people and more people and more people. And then that goes to more and more and more. There's going to be a couple of unhappy people, and they're going to spread it in the algorithm at the very least, and then that grows. Now, let's go back to number 2. where sales are concerned. So let's drag this over here, and that's why I'm glad this whiteboard is here, unlike the old one. And let's go to sales. So we're going to put sales right here. We're going to rewrite sales at this point. Okay. Now, sales is persuading somebody, not begging somebody. A lot of people go out to beg, and they're trying to beg and grow their business. And begging and growing the business by law of averages can get you very, very far, actually. Especially if you have the mindset of, shoot, I forgot my losses and I'm learning from them. And instead of it being a loss, it's a teaching moment, and it's a teachable moment so that I can continue to grow. So if you're doing it like that and you're just begging and begging and begging, obviously you're not changing the begging thing, but you're still learning from things that didn't work when you begged, and you make adjustments. You make adjustments. There you go. Now here, let's take a person that is making 10,000. If you're making that with your sales, right? Let's say that right now you have a product that is $100. All right. If you wanted to double this, that means that right now, if you're doing 10%, you're reaching 10,000 people. You're reaching 10,000 people, and at least 100 people are buying, because that's there. Okay. If you're getting 100 people to buy out of that, this is the thing that's very important here. What you need to do is increase your persuasion skills, learn from what that is, and then let's say you increase the same 10,000 to 200 that are there that are buying it. You've now increased that to 20,000. There are techniques that you can apply. And the reason why I'm not going to give it all on this video is because that gets into the technical. If anybody wants to know all of those, you go ahead and obviously either join the Discord or you hire me out for the coaching. Obviously the $40,000 for 2 hours. All right, for that. If you want to do that and explode your business, you want to double or triple or quadruple that, that's what you would do. Now, if you want it to go higher, now this is going to be limited to a certain extent. Your sales could also mean you increase a sales member to your team. But remember, the ratio of your success will be basically 20%. It's like the 80-20 rule. So if you had 10 people, 2 of them are going to produce 80% of the results. So that means if you're going to increase it again and double it to 20 people, 4 people are going to produce 80% of your results. So just keep that in mind. As you increase the number of people that may do sales for you, it's still going to be that relatively small amount, which is why I said I was going to get into that number later. I'm still not there yet. So let's go to number 3. Number 3 would be pricing. Now let's go down here. We're going to put 3, pricing. Now, pricing controls how much you make as well. Many people don't necessarily know how to price themselves, and they're kind of just like, hey, I'm not confident to price things the way I want. Like I saw a post on Facebook, and I know a lot of business owners that do this. There are some that make in the hundreds of thousands of dollars per month that still do something like this, and it just boggles my mind because the post read something along the lines of, I won't charge people to do speaking engagements. I'm going to help somebody that is out there that is poor and struggling. Now, there's nothing wrong with helping people that are struggling. Many of the people that will be listening to this video, some of you will be struggling. All right. Now, it is wrong that it's struggling. The way I look at it is it's wrong because it's bad to struggle. Nobody likes to struggle. But there's nothing wrong as in you necessarily because you're struggling. The struggle itself, man, if we could just avoid it, that would be great, right? So what happened was they were talking about that, and I'm like, no, I will charge for a speaking engagement because I use my time. I use my travel to get out here. I used gas and everything like that. And also, if you look in the Bible, King Solomon got paid for his time and his wisdom. So if he was given that ability by God, and God thought it was good enough for him, and I'm not better than God, so that's good enough for me. Because we have examples of who to follow. He was able to use his skills of wisdom, his understanding, how to run a kingdom, how to do this and that, resolve conflicts before he started falling off with other things that he did, lusting and whatnot. But he was able to resolve conflicts in other people's kingdom, and they pay him hundreds of millions of dollars in gold and food and other things and gifts. Not only was it kings and rulers, but they brought their own, basically the staff members, their families, and other people to get hired by him. Or to hire him. So the pricing, this is what you want to do. If you want to increase that, let's say you wanted to double it. You have a product that is $100. All right, this is how you double it. Offer a product at $1,000. Offer a product that has more value at $1,000. Why? Remember how you were doing 10% earlier? If you do 10% of this, right? If you do 10% of the 10%, that adds up to the same extra, because some of your clients will be repeat clients. And that's the whole thing. Because some of them will be at this $100 level and they said, wow, they're going to do this. They're going to say, wow, I learned this. I wish this person had more. Unless you're doing like some language learning thing, then it's beginner, intermediate, advanced. And obviously that's a funnel in itself. You got them the first beginner 1, beginner 2, beginner 3, intermediate 1 and 2, advanced 1, 2, and 3, full conversational. You got different packages for them. So that's a whole thing built into itself. That's like a business that's built into itself. And I can help you with those types of things too. But look at this. They're going to say, wow, this person just helped me here. I just increased my business. Let's say that you have a product that's doing that, or I increased my fitness just by their workouts that they gave me at $100. Wait a minute. If I get their course, right? I just got workouts. If I get their course at 1,000, man, maybe my fitness. I'm trying to do an arm like with the bicep curl right here. That's really bad. But if I increase my fitness, I can increase my fitness here. And then guess what? You want to increase that again, even more than just double. You want to double the double. So let's say you went from 10 to 20,000, then that would be 40. So that will be a 4x, but really it's going to be more than that at some point. But that's only keeping the 10% because that's how the law of averages essentially works. It's going to be either that 10 or 20%, but let's just keep it simple. You get another product, 10,000. And some of those people will say, wow, this worked for the workouts. This worked. I need to start deleting stuff. Here we go. Okay, so this worked, and I need to do a different color. This worked for the workouts. This worked to get me even better. How about I go here? Maybe I need to try out for CrossFit championships. Let me go to the tryout for a professional team. Or I just want to be so fit for myself that when I go and compete at the master's level in either CrossFit or track and field athletics or 3v3 or on a basketball court, whatever it is, I want to be at the best. So then maybe they hire you out for an hour or two of coaching. $10,000, right? Or you got a full in-depth advanced, whichever one, is either a course or something like that. And there you go. You don't need to lower the pricing. You offer one at a higher pricing. Now, there is a technique that you do at the lower pricing. That's for a different video. Now, here, let's go to the next one. We're going to get to number 4, and I'm running out of time right now because I like to keep my videos within a certain amount of time. Oh, this is 29 minutes, just as I thought. I could feel it in my head. I like to keep them around there because normally I could go 4 hours worth of that, but I need to deliver a punchy value to everybody that's still interesting enough to keep people's attention here. And here we go. Now, if you just want to be like everybody else, you won't do this. All right. There's at least three other things and technically four other things other than the one I'm about to tell you that you can do to increase this, and you combine all of what I just said together and watch your business more than 2x, more than 4 or 8 or 10x. Watch that go up. If you want all the specific details, you know where to find me. But as far as the outline of what that is, this is it. Now, another thing that you want to do, you want to take advantage of affiliates. Now, me myself right now, I am not using an affiliate program with Bank of Trading Value. So this one right here, this could increase that as well. But I have a webinar that's going on. Now that has an affiliate program, and that is 50%. So let's say that somebody makes enough sales for the webinar that I have coming up on July 5th through 8th, right? And they say, hey, I just made you $10,000. Well, they get paid $10,000 because it's 50-50 split. So they made me $10,000 because I got to take my half and they take their half. So it's a total of 20. I got 10, they got 10. If they get 100,000 for me, I get 100,000, they get 100,000. That's how affiliates work. Let me show you how this goes. Now there's different ways to take advantage of affiliates. Did you know that these shoe companies like Nike, Adidas, they have affiliate programs? And so when you talk about those things, you could drop an affiliate link to them. You drop one for Amazon. Everybody knows that they used to have it where it was unlimited. And now it's only 24 hours. So you got to basically keep on working and actively making new content and everything and getting people to click the link. And then within 24 hours of whatever, however the cookies work, then you get the sale. But so you got other affiliates. So you got other affiliates. So that means you would add this onto the program that you already have and things that you're doing. So if you're already talking about things and have your products, you can have something set up like a separate website. Because then what'll happen is that's good for SEO. It's good to just have that there. Maybe you use one of those link trees or something like that too if you don't want to just set up a whole website and do all of that stuff. But you have a separate website, and then let's say that you're selling fitness. Well, there's fitness equipment, and you don't want to be the person that has to sell and, you know, do all of that stuff. So you got the fitness equipment, FE. That's what people want to buy. It's already being marketed on, let's say, IG, because you got a large IG following now. And then the site would be either your site that you sent them to, which then has the Amazon, AMNZ or ZN. Yeah, however that goes. But it's Amazon, Walmart, Target, Nike, Adidas, all of them. All the affiliates are right there. You got your TikTok, you got your IG, you got your Facebook. That's the fitness equipment. And you got that going here to there to down here. And that's the affiliate. Now, then you got something like your own affiliates. All right. And this one is pretty straightforward. You got an affiliate program. You create that for the things that you're wanting to sell. You split it with them. Usually, typically, these things, they could be as low as 5%, but that depends. It may be a super high price. But what I have found for myself that I am very comfortable with is between 20 and 30%. Right now, I'm experimenting with the 50% one. May not stay there with future affiliate offers. But for now, if this works out very well, I'll keep it. But 20 to 30%, and sometimes like the sales incentives or affiliate incentives, that is very, very good from what I found. So if you guys like today's information and everything like that, this is going to have to just be a part 1, because I really just got a lot more content to go. But this is what we're going to have today. Maybe I'll pick up next Monday and then do a part 2 to this program. And if you guys like that, let me know. Do you want a part 2? Either way, I will still create a part 2, but I would like to hear from you guys in the comment section below. And this has been Nick of Bank of Trade and Value. Look, we're growing, we're small. Hit that subscribe button and do whatever else you need to do, right? If you want to reach out to us, go down below. Shameless Shiller. I'm letting you guys know and be aware that there is an offer that I have here. It's either for the lower tier offer. You can't quite afford the $40,000 for the 2 hours. And eventually that's just going to be for 1 hour. But you can't quite necessarily afford that. There's something else for you. It's in the description and maybe the comment below, but description below. There you go. Check it out. Now you see, that wasn't necessarily too hard, guys. It's something that you need to go out there and do. This is some extra right here, overtime. And then I'm out. This is something that you got to do. You know how many people that I have worked with? And this is why another reason why I just don't believe that the gift should just be given out like that with no cost or anything of that nature. It's free right here, but you want that organized, choppy, here's everything set, handed to you on a silver platter so that you can just go out there and execute the game plan, not the all-star coach that's telling you these things all split up and divided, but the all-star coach working with you right there one-on-one. That's why people come up to me and why I don't do that anymore, where I used to not recognize my value. And I'm telling people, hey, you can do this with your restaurant. This is this thing that you could do. Then I see other people do it. They start to do well. They start to prosper. And the person that I told made excuses the entire time. Now, the one thing they can't say is they didn't know what to do, because I was there. I was there from the beginning. I was there within the first 2, 3, 7 years, 8 years, 12 years now with some of these people, and told them, do this thing. They chose not to. They chose that they wanted to stay where they were. They didn't want to expand their clothing business. They didn't want to expand their cologne business. I remember the guy I met when I was in Oak Park, Illinois, because I'm from Chicago. I was in Oak Park, Illinois. This guy was selling perfume, knockoff perfume and colognes. Now, I bought a couple of colognes from him. This guy was doing the technique. He was in the crowd. He was there. He said, hey, you want, I know something that'll work right with you. I mean, I was trying to get on the green line and everything. I'm trying to go somewhere. He got me. I wasn't in too much of a rush, but I still wanted to catch that train so I could go somewhere else, probably to somebody I was dating downtown Chicago. Anyway, now, he got me. I liked the smell of whatever it was. He said it was like a knockoff of Ralph Lauren or whatever. It didn't last that long. That's how cheap these cheap ones are. Now, I remember it was like $6 and the other one was like $5. This was back in 2011 or something. Now, I remember seeing him on a magazine cover. Or maybe it wasn't. I saw him on a cover of something and he was in a page in Forbes somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody look this guy up. I tried to look him up later. I couldn't find him. I remember seeing him just like 5, 6, 7 years later. It's like he opened up a shop somewhere. Unless I'm not confusing two people, because there was another perfume guy, but they're still doing similar things. Maybe it wasn't the guy in Oak Park, but I remember two guys doing similar things. I could have sworn it's the guy in Oak Park. But this guy, and the background of the story on how he was just selling perfumes to people on the street, and then he opens up a shop some years later. He was willing to put in the work, whereas other people aren't. And that used to frustrate me. You guys that are on this video, go and do the damn work that's necessary. And it's not that it is even particularly difficult. What is so hard with walking up to people, getting your ass rejected, getting your ass rejected, getting your ass rejected, getting your ass rejected 100 times, and then somebody says yes and they bought something and you're like, hey, this person said, getting your ass rejected another 10 or 100 times, or you getting your ass rejected for month after month after month, and then finally someone says yes and you say, oh, this one worked, let's keep doing this, and then rejection 10 times, another yes, and then it gets less rejections between each one. You still get some rejections, and then eventually you're like, okay, I need to learn something else. It's not particularly hard. What makes it hard is our minds, our bodies. Our bodies are freaking lazy, man. I can speak for myself, and I know that I'm not that different from most people in a lot of ways. Some ways I am, but in a lot of ways I'm not. And I got a sneaky suspicion that procrastination is probably a thing that a lot of people suffer from, right? Some people want to make an excuse for it and say, well, it's confusion. No, you know what to do. You know that if you eat that burger right there, that's not healthy for you. Well, I just don't know what to do, so I just eat this burger so that I'll get bigger. I want to lose weight, but I just don't know what to do. I want a better relationship, but I just keep picking them wrong, right? I want more money, but I just don't know what to do, so I ain't making no post online. I just don't know what to type. Well, you learn by doing, right? Because how do we learn how to walk? See, we had people coaching us through. See, that's what I'm good for. I'm good for coaching you through the things there, making it a lot easier. But imagine you did not have a parent there. Let's just do this for a second. Imagine you did not have somebody like myself, or a parent, or something like that. Imagine you did not have that support. Eventually, you still would have walked. Would have been a little wobbly, would have taken a little bit longer, but for the people that wanted to walk, they would have walked. For the people that wanted to crawl and get something, hey man, they real hungry, they see that food there, they would have got it. The other babies would have died. Some of them would have got it, and then they would have brought it back to some of the other babies that couldn't move. But guess what? Some of them would have lived, some of them wouldn't have, some of them would have lived and then brought back to the other ones. But the point is that some people are out there and they say they don't know what to do, so they don't do it. That's their excuse right there. That is the excuse. It's not the lack of knowledge, because sometimes you know so much you don't do anything anyway. You say, I know all of this, so I know that I failed the last 100 times, so I'm not going to try this time. See, that's your knowledge right there. You didn't say, let me adjust what I'm doing like a scientific method. Instead, you said, hey, I'm going to do this thing right here, and I'm not going to try because I don't know what to do. But everywhere else in life where we get any type of success, we literally learn on the fly. You start off not knowing everything, including the language we speak. We did not know how to speak the language. You didn't know how to drive a car. You didn't know how to put your clothes on. You didn't know how to wipe your ass, and yet you learned all of them. But then when it comes to something that can make you succeed, you're going to say, I don't know what to do. Isn't that very convenient? Is it that you are addicted to failing, or you don't want the responsibility that comes through with it? There's a lot of things that we do. And I'm telling you, I might be a little different from some people. And in a lot of ways, I'm similar to everybody else. So if I feel like I want to procrastinate and I got to force my body to do it, to get in the habit, because if you don't force your body to do it, naturally, we just want to lay around, right? Most people want to lay around. Let's just be honest. Most people want to lay around. So now, if you want to actually do something about yourself, you got to get up. You got to start in a pattern. Because if you're in the mode, in a pattern, in the habit of doing stuff, an object in motion stays in motion. But that initial drive, like you coming out of the starting blocks, that's going to be a high energy event. And you can't just pussyfoot out of it. You got to smack yourself out of those blocks and jump. You got to get out of the starting position in that swim thing and jump and dive yourself into that water. You cannot just go plop and then try to get there. The momentum is gone. It's a lot harder to start from low speed when you're in that swimming pool than if you were to cock yourself back up, hold yourself there like the swimmers, right? And then launch yourself off of that wall into that water, right? You see all of that initial. Now that takes some energy at the beginning. That takes energy at the beginning, but that water is the resistance. Now, when you got that there, yeah, you might feel some fatigue like they do, but imagine you just walked yourself into the water, and then you said, let's start moving. Yeah, it's a lot harder. But eventually you could still get there. Not gonna say that you couldn't. But now look at how much extra time it added to you going from one side of the pool to the other one. Now imagine you walked out of the blocks, the starting blocks. All of that momentum is gone. You just came plopping out real nice and easy. Everybody else out of a 100-meter race already got 20 or 30 meters, and you just got to meter number 5 or 6. The race is lost. But except the race isn't against the other people, it's against yourself. All those other ones are just you versions on if you trained yourself better, that person's already at 30 meters. If you actually got out the blocks faster with the same training, you already would have been at 15 meters, not at 5 meters. If you would have just decided not to watch all of these wasteful things, drink, hydrate more, you would have been at, hey, you know what, 17 or 23 meters. The best version of yourself is at 30 or 32. Maybe you can't be the best version of yourself every time, but guess what? Every day you can strive to do that. So that's just here. I don't know what that just went on a slight rant or motivational speech. I don't know what that, whatever you want to call it, but just letting you guys know. Come on now. You can do it. From that 0 to a million, and it don't take that damn long. Just go out there and do it. Hey, but don't take my word for it. Don't believe me. Just sit there and just do the same thing, I guess. I don't know. But you guys know where to find me if you like the content. Catch you all on the next one. Peace.